Geometry Dash is pretty notorious for being a fast-paced platformer that takes years of hard work to get good at. No matter where you are in this game, there's always a next step for you to take, a next level for you to beat. As long as GD is relevant in any capacity, the skill ceiling will just continue to rise as time goes on. Even if it takes a long time, which it will, as long as you have some sort of drive to play, improving in Geometry Dash is easy actually.
Say that again?
Okay, let me clarify. Geometry Dash is definitely not an easy game, far from it. However, if you want to get good, it's not hard to progress up to a high skill level. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication. Trying to be anything harder than a hard demon can be no joke. For this video, I'll be showing methods and tips at each skill level on ways to climb in difficulty, starting from 0. Everyone starts somewhere. As a beginner, you should first focus on beating at least a few main levels before you wander online. These levels are very simple, but they give a great introduction to the mechanics of the game. Even at such a high skill level, the fundamentals of your play are very important. Some of these first levels can seem daunting as a beginner, and while that's because you just started, there's other factors you can use to give you a boost. The first step you can take to quickly help yourself is simply just using practice mode. If there is one thing I asked you to take away from this video, please just remember that using practice mode does not make you a cheater and it doesn't make you a loser or something. Many top level players use practice mode all the time because it's how you actually learn the level you're playing. Not only does it let you practice any part of a level, you can use it to play parts separately as well. Let's say, for example, I wanted to practice Time Machine. Instead of just bashing my head against the wall for hours trying to get to a later part, I can use practice mode to get there, and since these checkpoints remain as long as you stay in practice mode, you can just keep trying certain sections over and over. Being able to have a view of what's ahead rather than reacting is very useful, and for very difficult levels, being able to build that muscle memory is insanely important. Whether you choose to beat Club Step or an online easy demon, the next significant step up is doing just that. Don't even try to do some jumping from Cluttered Funk to Cataclysm shit. Please, you will hate the game, don't do it. I know it's very tempting, hard level, it's very cool, don't do it, it's not worth your time. The easy demon you choose at this level doesn't really matter, but some common suggestions are the Nightmare, Platinum Adventure, and Decode. Whatever level you choose, this is pretty much where you're forced to use practice mode. Please do not just try to do this without practice mode because you're going to just make it harder on yourself for absolutely no reason. I guess I just decided to learn this the hard way as a beginner so I can speak myself from experience. Here's me playing an easy demon named Demon Mix as a 10-year-old with no prior practice and dying to the first jumps constantly for reference. For every easy demon I beat as a beginner, I made sure to use practice mode and I got them down in no time. Remember, your first demon will take much longer than any lower difficulty, so stay patient and stay dedicated. One technique you can use for harder levels is trying to complete part of the level to create consistency. When I say completing part of the level, I just mean use practice mode still, but place a checkpoint at a certain point and try to beat the level from there. Keep pushing it back farther and farther until you have the confidence and consistency to beat it 100%. Consistency builds from lots of practice, so this is a nice way to get everything done. To end this section, here's a clip of me playing Decode as one of my first easy demons.
Hold on. Oh! Stop.
By this point, you've gotten a good grasp of the mechanics and have beaten at least one easy demon hopefully. Before you move up to medium demons, it'll be much easier to beat a couple other easy demons first. The exact same applies to every demon difficulty increase until extreme, and trust me, your life will be much easier if you just do it this way. For medium and hard demons, a lot of these tips will go for either. Going for a medium demon after beating an easy demon can potentially feel much more difficult than the last step was, since the gap between the two is larger. Even then, I still think you could choose almost any medium demon to beat as a first and it won't matter much. Some common suggestions for medium demons would be B, Hell, and Ultraviolence. Gameplay style starts to matter a lot more here, so I'll give a quick overview of each level. B has a focus on timings and ship, Hell focuses on fast wave and ship, and Ultraviolence has a more learning and high CPS style. Now, I'll move on to hard demons quickly. For hard demons, some common suggestions would be 9 Circles, Forsaken Neon, and Dance Massacre. 9 Circles has a heavy lean on fast tight wave, Forsaken Neon has a lot of choke points and ball, and Dance Massacre has a good mix with ball, UFO, and robot. By this point, levels begin to get more complex and you should treat them as such. Think of each level as a puzzle. One section is one puzzle piece, and as you put the pieces together, you complete the whole puzzle. A great way to learn levels is to just start with one section at a time and link them together slowly. Once you learn 2 separate sections next to each other, try to put them together into one run. This will not only help build muscle memory for the parts themselves, but it also helps learn how each part transitions into one another. Being able to effectively piece together runs will slowly but surely lead to a completion. Keep in mind that, as always, very hard levels like these will take a long time to beat for a first. Having the patience and confidence in your ability will be the main driving factor. In simple words, this is where shit starts to get serious. If you want to be an insane demon, you should by minimum have beaten 2 hard demons, but hopefully 3 or more. Insane demons are where you start getting to difficulty that you must grind to achieve. If you don't plan to invest any significant time into this game, beating an insane demon will take a very long time. However, if you have the dedication to grind out demons, it will not take you as long as you think. Some common insane demon suggestions are Windy Landscape, Magma Bound, and Acropolis. Windy Landscape has a lot of ship and timings, with many sections having dual and choke points. Magma Bound is a higher CPS level that keeps a fast pace with difficult spider and robot. Lastly, Acropolis is a very timing-based level that keeps a slow pace but requires good nerve control near the end. At this point, a lot of the battle going against these levels comes from the mental battle. While being well-rounded is very important, having a strong mental is even more important. By this time, you'll probably need some sort of warm-up before you play, and in that case, you have many options. First, you can do some practice runs of the level you're trying to beat. This not only gets you into the motions, but also does refresh your muscle memory. Secondly, another option is just beating some easier levels. This could be random stuff from the feature tabs, main levels, it doesn't really matter. Third, you can also try doing some challenge levels. Personally, I use the first method, but different players need different techniques, so just do what's best for you. When it comes to the levels at hand, there should be start position copies for many levels at this difficulty. To check, just put the level name followed by start pause in the search. If it cuts off the start pause part, don't worry, just search and see what you find. Using these copies is very useful for practicing specific parts individually and doing runs. If you happen to not have any mods and don't have any way to get mods, the next best alternative would just be practice mode or editing a start position copy yourself. You can disable and enable the start positions manually to kind of choose where you want to start. If you got up to the point where you can be an extreme demon, you've done a lot already. Not many players at all even make it to this point, so if you have, congratulations. Extreme demons require a lot of grinding to beat if you beat them as hardest, even more than insane demons. Common suggestions for beginner extremes could be AQ, Cataclysm, and Allegiance. AQ has a lot of fast-paced timings gameplay, using some difficult wave and a nerve control ending. Cataclysm is pretty well-rounded, but it has a lot of difficulty centered in the first half of the level. Allegiance has a lot of learning gameplay that stays pretty fast with hard timings. What extreme you choose as a first matters much more than every previous difficulty, as the gap between a bottom and top extreme is so much bigger that I don't even have a word for how big the gap is. I guess a good frame of reference is saying a bottom to top insane demon is like a bottom to around number 1000 extreme. As you beat a new hardest extreme, no matter what rank, you can choose to do a new hardest directly afterwards, but it might be in your best interest to beat some easier levels first. As you climb up in extreme demon rankings, they start to become exponentially difficult. Since they get so hard and require a lot of focus and time, having a good warm-up is crucial. If you didn't use any warm-ups before, I highly recommend you choose one now. On top of this, start position copies of levels are everywhere for extremes and for a good reason. They are very important by this point, and utilizing them will help you out so much. The best advice I can give is to play consistently, keep yourself composed, and don't give up. The worst thing you can do if you're trying to beat a new hardest is to completely give up after dying at the end, just because that is meant to happen. I can give a personal example. My current hardest is Killbot as of recording this, and it's placed around 413. I want you to take a moment and just guess how many attempts I died at the last 2 sections of the level. For reference, this is like 77% and beyond. Put a random number out there, just put it in the comments or something, I'll give you a few seconds. The amount of deaths I had past 77 before I beat the level came out to a grand total of 46 deaths. And as for how many deaths I had to the last UFO, the last section of the level, it came out to 16. 16 deaths past 87%. I died 3 times at 96%. You will die far into demons. What really matters is the resilience you have to move forward. You must have the strength to stay consistent and push through. No matter how difficult of a level you beat, that is what matters at the end of the day. If this video helped you, leave a like to show you enjoyed. If you want to see more of this kind of content, then subscribe for more because I plan to do more like this in the future. Finally, if you have any advice for any newer players or just other Geometry Dash players in general, then leave a comment and let me know. Okay, the video's over. You can all go home now. Yo, dude, finally, bro. Oh my gosh.